Hi, I'm John,
And I'm Eric.
and we are proud affiliates of the You Run Podcast Network.
Head on over to yourunpodcast.com to check out all of our content, all of our affiliates' content, and so much more.
See y'all there.
It's bigger than all of us. It's in your TVs, on the internet, it's everywhere. And you have to watch. And you came to watch. You came for a show. You came for a show, yeah? This is the show you came here for. This is a show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another riveting edition of Under the Floorboards, where we laugh at the creatures that go bump in the night. I'm your host, John, joined as always by my beautiful co-host, Eric. How are you this week?
Dude, fabulous.
Me too, because we haven't done this since like the first season where we actually had in-house guests.
This is cool.
I'm very excited, very excited. We have a couple people from the upcoming film that we had the privilege of watching as a pre-screener. It Needs Eyes. So first we have writer-director Aaron Peñano.
Did you hit the thing?
I was trying to like qualify it first and make sure. Okay, now I got that. And the lead actress playing Rowan in the film, raquellebishh. I don't have a hand gesture for that one, but yeah.
Welcome to it, dudes.
Yeah, welcome to Under the Floorboards. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having us. I didn't know we were first in-house guests in a while.
Yeah.
In quite a while. So getting into it, first of all, congratulations on y'all's film. It was an absolute blast to watch. It was incredibly atmospheric. I think there was a lot of nuance that went into that film, and I think a lot of the portrayals came out really well. And Aaron, my first question is for you, and I kind of want to know, like, where did the title come from?
Thank you for asking. My co-writer and co-director, Zach Ogle, and I are very proud of the title. I don't really remember the exact origin. And I know we went through some other ideas early on, but I think It Needs Eyes stuck pretty quickly just because we felt there was a mystery to it, right? It immediately evokes this situation of like, what is it? Eyes needing eyes is weird and creepy. And then there's a obvious metaphorical level that it exists on for the internet, for algorithms, for nefarious people on the internet that we love, but also represents and alludes to, I think, the more horrific elements in the film. But yeah, the origin, I don't know, it came through me like a spirit, perhaps.
Love that.
Love that. Yeah.
So Raquel, I am curious, for you, I like to do this when like the writer, director, producers are around because they're usually like, oh, what can I say? What can I say? So I'm interested to see through your eyes what this journey looked like for Rowan's character in this. And what do you think she kind of like, if you had to summarize this story through her eyes, how would you summarize it to people?
I think like the most simplified version of it is it's her process of grief. And how does someone who's going through such a pivotal moment in their lives, like becoming this teenager who's coming of age, how do they process traumatic experiences, and how does that manifest in their life with the real life dynamics and the ones online, without saying too much about that?
Oh, that's good. I mean, you can say anything except what happens in the...
No, that's my biggest fear though. Like with my luck, I will say what happens in the third act. So I'm just like, and that's it.
This is all one cut, and we're leaving it all in.
It's that Tom Holland energy.
It's that Tom Holland energy.
It has a lot to... Noted. So we got to keep you under lock and key better. Okay.
There's a reason.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with obviously you Rowan processing that grief, and how sort of the ways in which she needs community and she needs other people to process that through. And if she can't get that in her like real life, she's seeking some sort of release on the internet. So maybe talk about that a little bit, right? What does that look like for her? Like, what is she doing on the internet? What is she looking for?
I think she's just trying to find closure for what she witnessed. And she's trying to make sense of everything with everything that happened and almost like desensitizing herself in a way too to what happened in order to heal through it. It's kind of like how nowadays where we're exposed to school shootings, being in school and it's like, oh, well, here's another one. And it's sad and really unfortunate to say because my friends and I talk about it all the time, but how much it's like, wait, I just saw that X amount of people were killed at this school shooting. I go to a school and but I don't, my brain is incapable of, I think, taking that in to what that really means. And I think that's exactly what's happening to Rowan throughout the film.
You mentioned that it is a little bit of a well, certainly a commentary on grief, but there's a lot of deeper interpretation in this. As like writers ourselves, are there challenges presented where you have to keep this like very ingrained on this subject here so people know how to relate to it, what to relate to it, but when they're dealing with their own experiences, is that harder to leave it open to interpretation as you're kind of going through this journey with this character?
I don't think so necessarily. As from the perspective of an actor and performer, and I think this is how I'm taking your question, the more specific that I can get with her story, the more relatable it is to everyone else. It's that contradictory, paradoxical sort of thing. But when you really think about the cinema that speaks to you, it's awfully niche. But the resonance of all those universal experiences are all there. We've all been a teenager once. We've all had a budding romance or a budding friendship or a yearning for connectivity. We nowadays, majority of us are attached to the internet to seek some sort of information, and it may not be in the way that she does, but it can be in all sorts of ways. So I think it wasn't I wasn't concerned with, oh, how may people perceive this and if they'll resonate with it. I just had to make it as genuine as possible. And I think that goes for any role I play. Like, how is this authentic to me? And how does it speak to me? Yeah.
Totally.
I would say ditto for mine and Zach's writing process, which
Yeah.
was more an attempt to be specific than it was to be generally relatable. And we hoped in the same way that that specificity would both be very specific for a lot of people, right? Like a lot of people will overlap with that specific experience, but anyone who's been through something similar can also overlay that experience in a lot of ways. And that's always been sort of what I've found in terms of writing, especially horror, actually, I would say,
Yeah.
is really fun in the way that you can metaphorize it in a lot of different ways. And so the specific experience of being a 16-year-old teenage girl living with her aunt on the coast of Connecticut who's deep diving the dark web, that's a lot of specifics, but I find that the more specifics there are, the more there's maybe one that resonates with somebody, or it's similar enough, right?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
What I'm hearing you say too is just like having the faith in the audience that they'll follow the breadcrumb trail that you're laying for them and everything too. And the intentionality of the art is what will pull people in.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Heard that.
I think something that is very interesting about this film is when you look at it in like the light of the era that like you and myself and Eric and Zach were growing up in, um, we were kind of the antithesis of like a lot of this stuff happening. So like, it was like, yes, we saw the rise of like chat rooms, but it also came along with things like Live Leak and Best Score and all this crazy stuff. And these kids coming up to you and being like, oh my God, did you see like this decapitation video this week? And like all this crazy stuff. And it's like, especially like being the horror kid back then, they were like, oh, this guy wants to see it. I was like, horror's not real, brother. Like, what are you talking about?
Brother, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't want to see cartel videos. I'm sorry, that's so weird of me.
Right.
But I do think in our experiences, there was a little bit of that curiosity. I know I was definitely one to look a couple times, especially at that young age. So what do you think? Obviously, you wrote a script that was not focused on only that, but was a big part of the story. What do you think that growth looks like between what it used to be and what you were portraying in this film?
I want you to think on it because I want you to respond to this as well. But we were doing something interesting. Zach and I were intentionally trying to bridge the internet of our youth, the early 2000s, with the internet of today that would be resonant to teens today. So there are like elements taken from both. I will say I've heard multiple times while doing this tour and while speaking to fans and stuff how much like, oh, it was so easy to find, really fucked up shit online when we were kids, and like it's all changed now. And I would question that. I actually very thoroughly think that it may manifest differently. We might be on different websites that lead. We might not be on the websites directly that are
Mhm.
leading to those videos, but they're still very much out there and they're very much easy to find. They
Mhm.
may be harder to find for people our age because we don't know how to look for them in the same way. But I will say, while doing research for the movie, which was a bad time had by all, Zach and I were sort of jumping in back into those spaces online and being like, well, where do you find those things now? And like, what does that look like? And it was extremely easy to
Mm.
get there in the
Mm.
same way that, Raquel Googles in the movie, Rowan Googles like fucked up shit. Yeah, fucked up videos. You can still do that, and it will not be hard to get where you're trying to go.
Turn safe search off.
Exactly. Yeah, you just got to turn safe search off. That might be the only additional step.
Right.
And there might be a slightly different um track to get there, and it often goes through Reddit or
Mhm.
Yeah.
something like that. But back then, you can get there through 4chan
Yeah.
when we were younger. So same thing.
I mean, yeah, it's so much more accessible nowadays, and the internet has only gotten broader now, especially with TikTok. It's a huge platform, and it's even worse, I think, in a way, because the attention span is taken so much into consideration. So it's all these short form videos. So you can probably digest double than what you may typically could have back then.
That's a great answer.
Mm.
And so, and I'm also just thinking about when we filmed it too. I have a younger sister, and seeing, granted, I think it's inevitable, and it's not like she's being exposed to things that are bad, but seeing her ability at such a young age to be able to navigate YouTube or Google is so mind-boggling. It's scary, but again, on a desensitized level, because I don't think I even recognize how scary that is. And so taking that into consideration, also the fact that I grew up with the internet, or right on the precipice of like, I think I had a BlackBerry when I was like 10.
Haven't heard
Yeah.
that term in a long time.
Yeah, no. Like I had a BlackBerry when I was 10 for the necessity of like having to text or call my mom when she was ready to pick me up from school or whatnot. But then like quickly getting Instagram when I was 10 as well. And like what's social. No. My mom says she regrets giving me that because having data access was the thing that I could really connect to very specifically with Rowan on that level. And we've spoken about this briefly. But and then also hearing Premier and Zach's perspective, or just seeing that perspective written in the script, and how my brain, when I first read it, was like, "Oh, I get this on a just a different level. Like I really understand this, but it's so innate in me, and it's a generational thing, and I just think it's fascinating."
Yeah, I think obviously, all those same videos are still out there, and you can still find that same specific type of stuff. But we're all microdosing atrocities in our own way now, just via our algorithms. You don't even have to go. There's a line. I'm almost quoting the movie. There's a line in the film that Alex Isadora's character says that like you don't have to deep dive the dark web to find people getting killed,
Mhm.
right? Like it's all over my Instagram feed right now. It's happening in the streets thanks to the government.
Mhm.
And then, you can take that further, police shootings, school shootings, that stuff's on the news, and it's
Mhm.
extremely easy to just find the uncensored version if you look quickly. And the speed at which those algorithms move, you can see those videos before they get taken down, even if they're not
Mhm.
following the correct censorship protocols.
For sure. One of the ones that I liked, and if this is too specific, we can cut this, but it was the equivalent of salad fingers, I think. Well, I'm curious, just out of pure curiosity, is that an actual video, or is that something that your team had to animate for that and have voiceovers and everything going along with it?
Happy to answer that question. Huge shout out to Ari Grab, very talented animator and director and writer. But he animates incredible, beautiful, very bizarre stuff all the time. And so when we were deciding, like making out what that path would be, right?
Yeah.
Zach and I charted out sort of the top of funnel to bottom of
Because it's
the,
exactly
the
what it
rabbit
is.
hole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
It starts with happy tree friends, bro.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when we were
yeah.
charting that path, we were like, oh, when we talk to other people as well, and to this day, after they see the film, Salad Fingers is so integral
Mhm.
to a lot of people getting their first taste of like just unexplainable, bizarre content. So we knew we needed something like that. And so we went immediately to our friend Ari because we were like, he's the perfect person to do it. And we gave him some, the dialogue had to be specific. There's some stuff in the video that comes back later that needs to be specific. But then for the rest of it, we kind of just asked him to make something that felt the way you remember Salad Fingers, right? We were like, don't copy early 2000s Flash animation
Mhm.
directly because that may not actually resonate or translate perfectly. So do your modern equivalent of what Salad Fingers felt like.
Mhm.
And he knocked it out of the park, and I'm so proud of how that turned out.
I was like, I understand that reference. It's very effective.
Yeah, we've been told some people have asked us if that is a like lost Salad Fingers
No,
episode.
because I want to know because I'm already in that.
I will say I'm curious. There's a lot of really cool visual effects that you guys utilized in this movie. And the first part of this question is actually for Raquel. I'm curious as to when you're in that acting mode, what is it like when you're in situations that you know what the vibe is, you know what the feeling is, and but you haven't gotten to see it yet, like you have in the scene. Like, there's a lot of really cool advancements that we've seen with like technology and how that is utilized in a lot of these scenes. Like when you see the text messages on the wall, or yourself researching, but you see the shadows behind you and stuff like that. What kind of world are you cultivating for yourself in those scenes?
Do you want?
Well, I was going to say you might be excited to know that that is almost entirely 100% practical. Raquel was in the room with those things, but you can still answer it first.
Yeah.
Or I guess there's like a part A and a part B. So for like the text projections and for the videos themselves, which they are not real. We've gotten that. You've gotten that a lot. This last reading that we had here in Winston, we were also like, was that real? And it's like, no, forgot the content warning. But yeah, that the projections were there. I watched the videos. I watched the infamous one that kind of triggers the domino effect quite a couple times. And so it was easy to immerse myself in that way because it was right there. But for the scenes that required post-production sort of magic, I think the best way to describe it is like this is where my theater training came in. Like I had years of theater under my belt and a lot of theater that there wasn't a big production for necessarily. Black box, wearing all black, imagine. Just make it work. And so I think it really was as simple as like just imagine that it's there. And I think there was a level at that point too where we had been filming for so long, and also I'm thinking about one sequence in particular afterward where she gets jump scared, that it was just like it's easy to be in that mindset. Once I'm in it, I'm in it. I've always been, especially with that sort of like manic state of being, it's always been very easy to tap in. And I wish I had a much detailed, better answer for you. But the paranoia, Rowan's paranoia had been built up inside me for so long that it was almost relieving to kind of just have something to let go of in a way, if
No,
that makes sense.
catharsis.
Sort of, yeah. Like it was very that scene, the phone call, and all of that was just so cathartic for me. Not for her, but like I won't say it's not very enjoyable for her, but as a performer, it's like, oh, great.
I would say you did get to break shit, so that was pretty cool.
Yep.
Oh, that was so fun. I had the best time, and I think every performer has a different process. And the more that I've, especially now, years in, it's like I figured out that my process involves having to take a really big step back once I'm out of those scenes, and then be able to fully throttle in them. like kind of recharging in a way for those things because it's quite exhausting to just kind of live on set like
Mhm.
like this all the time. Some people they can do it and that's really impressive, but you know, if I'm not on the clock for 5 minutes, I'm gonna use that.
Love that. Um, so there are definitely VFX in the movie, like you're referring to, but most of the time, the videos that she's actively watching on set. So some of them Zach and I shot, some of them we outsourced to friends, other filmmakers, like we mentioned Ari. There was a multiple other handful of other filmmakers that made stuff for us, including Dusty Austin, Street Rat Studios, Athena. They did some videos for us that, Raquel's watching. But what I think you might be referring to is that there's a lot of scenes in which you're watching Rowan watch a video, and those
Mhm.
videos are playing on the walls behind her
Correct.
and the ceiling behind her, around her, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
in her eyes,
Mhm.
things like that. All of that is real, and we would literally either run a cable or Bluetooth from the laptop or the phone she's actively using, and that's what we would project around her. So not only is it actually captured in camera, projected on the walls around her, but it is what she's watching on her phone and her laptop. And so if the mouse is moving around the walls around her head, she's the one moving it herself in the scene.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so the
Wow.
performance is real and you're watching it. So
Hmm.
um, in real time with what she's seeing, we built out some of those websites online as well, so that she wasn't like locked into like pretending to swipe or pretending to move the trackpad around. It was like, okay, the links are clickable, the videos are clickable. You can scroll down, you can click on the recommended videos, it'll bring up that next video. And so we thought that'd be cool for your performance, and that you literally, your hesitations, your um, maybe but the opposite of hesitation, your excitement to click on the next thing is really in your performance, and that's what's captured on screen and what's projected around you.
Such a gift too, because that's not typical. I didn't realize that wasn't typical until like years later. And also Loki sitting here and I'm like, yeah, I haven't done that since, and that's really special. Like that's special in a twisted way. But yeah.
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 I wanted to talk quickly about just the cinematography in general, especially as it pertains to the location. Where was this shot? Just
We shot it in Seaside, Connecticut.
very cool. I loved the just helping the story move along, the usage of an island, the separation from reality. You have a parasocial society on the other side of this lake and the navigation and all that. And I was joking with John. I was like, dude, the storms would be awful, but this would be you could die happy here. I was just curious where it would be like that. I've heard that finding the location is often one of the harder aspects of it. And I was curious if you had
Yeah.
done something there before, maybe, or
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yes, I think location is extremely important to
Mhm.
anything that I do. I feel like it can really make or break something, right? You can tell a great story in an apartment. Many people have, but I find if you have the right location, the immersion is so much easier and so much better, and it can be the number one thing that can elevate sometimes.
Mhm.
And so we wrote the film for that location. So when Zach and I were trying to plan out what we were going to do, we literally were one of the first things we thought was what cool locations do we have access to?
There you
And let's
go.
base it around that because A, we don't have a huge budget to go location scouting or, buy or pay for locations we don't already have access to.
Mhm.
But B, it like let's bake it into the script rather than writing a script that's like in this vague space that we have to find. Let's be specific
Mhm.
about exactly where we're going to be and write that architecture into the bones.
Yeah.
I will say with Zach being a big writing partner in this, and obviously co-director as well, when you're in a creative space like that, and I'm always curious because I think everybody has a different take on it. What is it like when you're trying to create a story with two people as opposed to just being like, this is my story, this is how I'm doing it, no ifs, ands, or buts. So what is that writing process like?
So I'm sure it varies and depends on, that dynamic between two people. Writing with Zach is like the easiest thing in the world. I find it way easier than writing alone
Mm.
because when you write with somebody that you really trust, and whose sensibilities align with yours,
Mhm.
there will be disagreements. There always will be disagreements, and you're not always going to agree on everything. But again, when you have that level of trust, you get instant real-time feedback outside of your brain, which is a godsend as a writer, for me at least, right? We're going back and forth. If we're riffing, if we're both loving it, we're both like, oh, what about this? Yes, amazing. And that means this. Like you just get the second brain on it, and then you know if it catches, if it hooks the other person, and they yes and it immediately, you don't have to then spend the rest of 3 days wondering like, oh, is that line a good idea? Or like, was this plot point a good idea? Like when you're both in, you're both in. And similarly, I'll throw something out there and be like, oh, and then this could happen. And if he goes, I don't know if that works with this or whatever, I don't get precious. I'm like, amazing. I don't have to waste 3 days on that dead end. That's gone. Let's keep going with stuff that we both like.
Yeah.
And so that process of writing it was incredible. And I think we wrote the script way faster because of it.
Understood.
That's fantastic.
I had a quick question too. I'm sorry, I'm harping on the cinematography.
He's just thinking about how beautiful it is.
Oh, stop. Oh, please. Stop.
He said I was having like connectivity issues with my phone and trying to get it screencast from the email to the TV. And I was like, I'm looking on my phone. I'm like 45 seconds and I'm like, nah, I'm going to watch this with John. I can't. There's no reality where my first watch of this is going to be on my phone in my lap. Were the fireworks real? And how in the world did you coordinate that?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I think Raquel, why don't you tell us about shooting with the fireworks?
Sure. I believe that we just timed it out to be the 4th of July event that they were having there. So we filmed it was like, we need to get this. It's now or never, really. And I love when a set runs like that because there's so much urgency and so much hustle required at that point. And I think it turned out beautiful. I mean, a lot of my friends, their favorite scene was the fireworks scene. And I think, no, they didn't know whether or not we had timed that out or not. They just thought we had money for that. And I was like, yeah, we got money for fireworks. Awesome.
Our fireworks
and a permit, I believe. I think we would have needed a permit. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. I think a lot of the aspects of the film that people harp on is the great, like, it was just like, we have access to it, let's use it, or we have this resources. Yeah, you guys planned that. Yes, good planning. Good job. Can you put that in my ear? Good planning, good planning, good planning. Yeah. Genius planning, even. Travis Campbell is a great planner, stunning planner, really. Every day was like set and we did it and we succeeded.
Yeah. She gets in the kayak, they're like, go.
Yeah.
So there was, in fact, a real fireworks display. We were shooting over the summer. It was 4th of July. And we just had the crazy idea of setting the climax of the film during that fireworks display. And so the fireworks display itself was only about 20 or 25 minutes. And so basically we had our shot lists of what needed to happen in that scene and which shots needed to see the sky with the fireworks actively going off. And so we prioritized those, obviously, and we mapped out basically for this 25 minutes, we are going to go, and just like keep filming and keep moving back to one. I shot the movie, and so I'm there holding the camera with an easy rig. Zach is out there with Raquel on the beach, watching the fireworks like get shot and timing out in his head how long he thinks it's going to be for them to explode. So that she's doing specific things as the light flashes, right, in between the darkness, because we don't want to miss the best parts of the performance in the darkness between the fireworks. And so he's like, and look now, turn now, you see something there. And so he's like calling out these cues while I'm running around with the camera. And we shot as much as we could in that time looking up at the sky, which also needed to be pretty chronological because of a fireworks display infamously starts small and then gets gigantic. And then we did actually have time. We did get some real shots of other stuff, like not looking at the sky with the real flashes. And we kind of used that as a template and a map to then later, a few days later, we went back at night and then we just used flashing lights to mimic the fireworks going off for a lot of the stuff, especially the VFX heavy stuff.
Yeah.
within the space um, that we're in. So yeah,
Mm.
there's a real shot. And oh, eye reflections. I think we kind of touched on this earlier. Every shot of a reflection in her eyeball is real, including there's one of the fireworks going off in her
Mhm.
eye, which is a real shot as well.
That's unbelievable.
I would say because those shots were absolutely gorgeous. Like
Spectacular, even. Yeah.
every shot of that, it was like bravo on that
No,
because
it's
like
unbelievably cool.
even the as Raquel put it, the domino effect shot from early on in the movie, I was just like, that was such a tasteful take on it. Like I thought that was because I think there's a level of flashy that horror movies will get into if they were to do a scene like that. And guys, you just have to watch the movie. But it was really cool how you took that and kind of turned it on its head and made it more artistic and kind of it felt like it was part of her soul after that. You know what I mean? And it was crazy to watch that happen in real time.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I'll give some of that credit. We shot it a few different ways. Our editor, Greg Tuzin, um, I don't remember if it was a specific request we had or just a choice that he made, but from the very first edit in the cut, what you're talking about, where showing something very specific in the reflection of the eye and that edit, that whole build up, that edit of her watching that first, I mean, it's the first 10 minutes of the movie. She watches a suicide video. And so showing the climax of that suicide, like reflected in her eye and stuff, was just in that first edit. And as soon as Zach and I saw it, we were like, yes, Greg, that. Perfect.
What was it like having a camera on your eyeball?
Honestly, no, because I kind of ate that. Like, not like, let's talk about it. Because it's just a stupid teenager thought. But I thought about Euphoria and how they did that in like the first season. And I was like, wait, this is my chance to be, I think it was either Zendaya or Hunter Schafer. It was one of the two leads. And I was like, this is my moment to shine. Like, trust. I think it was less of that one, and it was another eye shot that I think we use as a compilation later on, where really I was very aware of the lens because it was much more closer. I think when she's watching the suicide video, it got skis in a way where I was really focused on the video and I wasn't thinking about blinking so much or like because it wasn't originally I think meant to be like this stylized eye shot. I don't know if that was, but I wasn't told about it if it was. And so
We were up in her eye frequently. We were
Yeah.
like, all right,
I'm gonna be so
eyeball again.
the more that we talk about the film, I'm like, wait, I don't remember that. And I'm like, all the days bled into each other. I don't remember Zach telling me when to turn or when to look. I didn't even know that we did the fireworks scene with the light.
It's eyeball.
I thought it was right on that same day. I was just, the days have bled and I'm like, wait, I don't remember half of this, which is
Jeez.
testament.
Which will happen when you're staying up all night watching videos on the internet.
True. There it is.
The brain rot.
Like actually though, I'd get home and I'd be like, okay, time to watch Love is Blind or some shit. But yeah, I don't know if I answered the question.
I think you did. You ate.
Yeah.
Got him.
He's so sick of me.
He's like that clip of Rob Pattinson. I am Gen Z.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I am curious because I know you don't want to talk about it too much. But what's really cool about this, and there's another aspect of this story we're going to get to in just a second, but there is a supernatural element to this movie too that I obviously don't want to give too much away about. But if you were to entice the crowd in that or our audience right now to what would you want to say about the supernatural aspects of this film?
Sure, yeah. I think that the dramatic question of the film very much regarding the internet, right? Stepping away from the grief, is about when you're online and you're finding videos, right? You're watching all of this content. It's your video after video. I think we have a tendency to imagine that we are finding these videos, that, oh, look at this thing that I found. But I think that may have been true longer ago in the 2000s, maybe when we were doing this, you and I. But I think nowadays it is more accurate to say that those videos have found you, right? There's active intent out there on the part of corporations, companies, marketing executives, algorithms, however you want to think about it, whoever you want to paint on. There are bad actors out there who are doing everything in their power to make sure that their content finds you. And so I think the big question of the film is what exactly is trying to find you? Who or what benefits from a teenager intaking gratuitous amounts of violence or pornography or um, just traumatic imagery? Who or what benefits from that? And in I like this. I love this dramatic, like social philosophical question. But in a horror movie, I love genre and I love the opportunity to expand the possible implications of what might be. And I hope that answers your question in
That
a.
was that was very well put.
I loved it, and I want to talk to you when we're not recording about an aspect just for briefly, real quick, because I do want to. Yeah. What about, and this is for both of you, obviously, what about this film or this process are you most proud of? Would you say?
Ooh, take that a lot of directions.
Good.
I'm most proud of raquellebishh. Not for nothing. Every film I find, maybe this is a great fortune on my part, but every film I find that I'm able to make like a new connection or new collaborations that are extremely meaningful to me. And I would say with this film, Raquel, Isadora, Lydia, like we had a very small cast and everybody were really people that I loved working with so much and I just like want to know for the rest of my life. And so I was proud
I
to
shot there somewhere. Let's get that.
It's like, Mom. Sorry, Auntie.
I'm most proud probably that all of these people I've mentioned and others, right? I could name every person on the crew member. It's so small. But on set, it was usually them, myself, Zach Ogle, our producer Travis Campbell, our production or PA, who I think we promoted to like production coordinator, Luke Albanese. And then we had a few other people that would come in and off set who I'm very grateful to. But we really formed this intimate, tight family, which is so cliche to say in a film, but
beautiful.
But it's my favorite part of the
Yeah.
filmmaking process. And so I'm proud that we made that a great experience for all of these folks and that everybody, even though what we were doing is very hard, making a film is incredibly difficult, especially on a low budget, on a short schedule, things like that. And I'm proud that everybody had such a great time and that everybody, I hope, feels directly connected to the success, right? Like all of these people I've named, without a single one of them, the movie would not have the same magic that it had. Everybody really brought so much to it that, yeah, I'm glad that they felt that they had the space to do that and that they felt comfortable enough to bring those performances, that artistry, or just that hustle and that work ethic to set every single day.
Yeah.
Oh, he's really good at being sentimental. Also, your mailman came, and then I was like, I thought he was gonna ring the doorbell, and I was like, oh fuck.
Well, I thought Barry's like sixth sense was gonna like it usually does, and I was like,
Shit.
God damn it, he's gonna ruin this fucking
No,
moment.
Barry's out. Oh shit, Barry was out, and then I started saying Barry was out.
Sleep by a podcast.
Oh fuck, are we boring? Shit. No, I think but I go immature girl. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, I just think, I mean, I'm very proud to be a part of something like this so early on in my career. It was the second film I had ever done, and for everything to work out the way that it had worked out, to meet Aaron and Zach and Travis, who were very much and Isadora and Lydia and all these people who were very much integral parts of my life and have built me as a human being, but also as an artist as well, is just really special. There's a lot of parts of, I talk about it all the time. I'm also just very proud of, I consider It Needs Eyes the last performance I did before like I went to school, and like craft and technique and all these things kind of got in my head. And I will say it has made me a better actor, but like that was the last point in time where I just was like, fuck it, ball, impulse, throw it out the window. So it's also special for me in that way. And I mean, every time I watch the movie, I get emotional, not because of what's happening, but because of like the memories that I have and being supported in that way. I'm just really glad to have met you guys. You guys are so creative, and I'm so proud to just talk about you guys whenever I get to. I'm like, Aaron, when you were saying that you were gonna come, I was talking to all my friends and I was like, Aaron's coming, and Aaron's the coolest person I know, and the most like intellectual and well articulate person. And then I get on like a spiral of Aaron and Travis as well. And I'm just like, I have nothing to say but good things about these people. And that's a privilege. Oh.
Oh, likewise. One of the most frequent compliments we get ever all the time is just how great of a performance you give in the film.
Yeah.
And I think rubber stamp that.
Still good.
100%. And one of the only other things I wanted to talk to really about that performance, but also the writing implications with that, are one of the coolest aspects to me. And I messaged you about this like pretty much right after I had watched the film. And for a horror film that's dealing with so many different aspects between like addiction and between like whether it be chemically induced or watching brain rot, and there's so many different elements to this film, you somehow also managed to slip a coming of age story in there. And I want to hear from Raquel first, because I'm very curious as to what it was like, because you were a little bit younger when y'all were actually filming this, which obviously you weren't a child when you were filming this, but you were hitting that stage of post coming of age. So what was it like to do that twice to yourself?
Let's say 3 times, because the movie I did before was also like coming of age. Yeah, it keeps on happening. I mean, it was.
Becoming Vera is that first film, which is also really good.
Thank you.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Yes, Becoming Vera. Go check it out. But I think there's something about the movie now that resonates with me very differently than when I filmed it. But there's also a sense of youth and nativity or naivete. Oh my God, I almost messed up this fucking word. Naivete. Thank you. I was like, I'm not trying to say titty on this, but I did it anyway. I was like, fuck. But yeah, like there's a naivete to it and a youthfulness that I don't think I would have been able to bring now, because I'm older and I was because at the time I was transitioning. It was the summer before I went to college, and I think that's such a pivotal moment in life. And I'm definitely a different human being than I used to be 3 years ago, but it's still there's I'm not answering this question. Do you want to talk about it? Because I don't know how to describe it other than like I was close to the age of which I did it. So I think there was something there that I can't even attest to, because it wasn't like I was 25, like every other CW show where and playing and have to think really hard about like what it was like to do this coming of age story. I was in it and I'm still in it. And what a gift it was to be doing this project, and then to look back on it and see the screenings and be like, oh, now I remember what that was like. Oh, nice.
I think you nailed it in that there was this certain rawness to your performance, and it was something that obviously you're doing a lot of work. I don't want to chalk it up to being like, oh, you didn't act at all. You just showed up and you were just like that. Yeah.
Guys, I can act.
I'm a freaking actor.
Yeah. No, but I think there was a rawness and an authenticity you brought to everything, just in somewhat a lack of restraint or a lack of proper full training, right? Where you're in this new situation, you're doing these like very familiar coming of age like things, right? There's a love story in the movie. There's a lot of interesting dynamics with you and your aunt. And that stuff I feel like was just so raw and powerful, because you just drew directly from real life, essentially, and you just threw it all in there. And we would tell you if, it was too much or too little, or yeah.
I think what was really helpful, just is like to fully invest in the romantic story as well. Because I think if you just play the sad the entire time, it's not as effective. You don't get that like tendril of like coming of age. It was really helpful. And also a test to Isadora, because Isadora and I were able to really build a great chemistry together because she's simply just a wonderful scene partner and she's an amazing actress. And so it was easy with her. Whenever she was on set, it was like a completely different movie. And so it didn't take much to kind of feel like I was immersed now and like this could potentially be what's a good comparison? Like girls like girls.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like your scenes with her, she offers this something to latch onto when you're unmoored throughout the film. She's sort of laughing at my metaphor here. She's sort of a buoy that you can hold on to in an ocean of sadness. Zach and I talked about it.
Perhaps
Everything's a
bay in
metaphor.
Connecticut.
Yeah. If sadness is a bay in Connecticut, then then
Before you said it.
I know because I wanted to say it straight faced, and I was just like, I wouldn't be able to
Yeah,
do this seriously. I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to pretend that it's like I just came up with this. Yeah.
We'd hate for people to think you're creative.
Self-aware.
Yeah, I have nothing if not that. But yeah, the coming of age. I mean, I would also throw it back to say that the horror of watching of the horror of being traumatized by the internet when you should be sleeping is also just inherently a coming of age story. But I think that it hits harder when it's specific to, asking what that's like for a teenager who is still figuring out a lot of things about their life and their family and their sexuality. Yeah, hopefully that resonates.
100%. It's always nice to see the eagle eye perspective of that too. And you
Mhm.
guys had such an amazing performance in all of your scenes. I was very impressed by the acting in this film, by leaps and bounds, because it's always one of those things. And Aaron and I were talking about it the other day. It is nice to see this evolution of the indie film world, and still there are people that are not necessarily putting their all into it. So it's nice to see like people that put so much passion and dedication and like really like and like you said, for you it felt easy with your scene partners, but that's because everybody was so talented and everybody was so on the level that it portrayed all the things that you guys were looking for. And that's got to be incredible as a director to be able to see that on the monitor and just be like, we nailed it, right?
It's the best feeling in the world. It's so awesome. I remember we were shooting a couple of scenes. They're both sort of spoilers. There's one really beautiful scene between you and Isadora that just turned out amazingly, and we just knew it. And like Zach and I were looking at each other the whole scene, like this is gonna be great.
Right.
Like this is working. Like the performances are landing. The lighting was perfect. Every part of it, we were just like, this is exactly what we envisioned, and it's better actually because we got real people in there, and they're realizing it in an incredible way. And then a scene later where you have a phone call that's very important to the film. I was holding the camera, and you cry a little bit in the scene, and I cried a little bit in the scene, holding the camera, watching you cry. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we did a few takes of it. It was like the last one that we did. Zach and I told you we gave you a slightly different direction for the last take. And then we're just like, let it rip. We got it. We had great takes already. We were like, let's try a little different of an option. You really took that and ran with it. And then, yeah, you finished and like you looked at me just like big watery eyes. And I remember I lowered the camera, big watery eyes. And then I looked over at Zach, who was like hiding behind a bed in the corner of the room, and he's like crying. And I'm like, I think we can move on.
100%.
Like I was talking to Luke about this right after, and I was just like, I am the kind of performer, and I think this is something essential that a lot of, especially film actors need, is like, you can't be satisfied. Like, I think you need to always be hungry and curious about where you could go if you wanted to get something out of it. And I'm not also dictating my performance as either what it is. That is not my job. But whenever someone, like the other day, when my good friend came up to me and was like, that was a phone call that I had verbatim, and that hit me in this XYZ way, I was like, then I did my job. That's my job.
Yeah.
And then maybe for some people it was like I didn't fucking like that. Great. But if I did, if I hit you and Zach and then Chris, then I'm like, I did my fucking job. I'm happy with that. So
If
yeah.
anybody has anything negative to say about y'all's performance in that movie, I will personally fight them. So that's yeah, it's yeah.
Is that when we do the next Hating the Haters
It is.
episode?
We do the next Hating the Haters episode.
One of our favorite things
Yeah.
to do.
Because I was
Ooh,
watching what
interesting.
I will refer to as the pink room scene between you and Isadora's character. I'm sitting there like I'm kind of just the whole time because
So
it
sweet.
was so adorable and just like I was like
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the one
that's
that
it.
we on set
Yeah.
we were just like, this
Yeah.
is working.
yeah yeah.
It's very tasteful. He was like, I don't know if I, he was like, I don't know if I can. And then he was like on the edge of his seat. He was like, I thought it was so cute.
It was sweet. It was innocent. And
It's-
honestly, the way that comes back, though, I was just
I-
like, I was like, this movie's too dynamic. God damn it.
Love that though. It really throws you off your course.
That's a great way to put it. That being said, we are starting to run out of time, but this has been absolutely fantastic. Aaron, you are currently on the road with It Needs Eyes. Where are some showings? Where can we see you? We'll get all of those down in the comments below so you guys can also see it. But how can, first of all, they keep up with that? Where can they find these showings and such and scheduling?
Yeah, as you mentioned, so we're taking the show on the road right now. We're hitting theaters across the country, currently working our way up the East Coast, but we're planning to head out west as well, booking dates like every week, basically, constantly unfolding new ones. But if anyone wants to come check out the movie, I'll be there. Zach will be at some of the screenings. Raquel was just at one. We'll try and get her out for more. Yeah, you can follow us at Formidable File Films on all the social networks, Instagram and TikTok specifically. We're always posting our dates updated there. That's the production company, Formidable File Films. And then you can find us at formidableFileFilms.com, where we have links to all of the currently available tickets, and we're just updating the list and the roster. We have dates coming up in, should have one in Atlanta soon. We're trying to lock that in. We're looking at Tennessee, could be Nashville, possibly Knoxville. But then we have confirmed dates currently in May for New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and we're working on a few more up there. So follow us, hit us up, DM us directly if you want us to come to your town. Like, let us know. Especially if it's anywhere within those ranges, we're adding dates all the time. If you know any like local film organizations, film clubs, horror enthusiasts that would be interested in helping us spread the word or bring people out to screenings, like let us know that as well. This is a very community focused event. It's been incredible. All the screenings we've done so far have been it's all about just us bringing the movie directly to fans and audiences who want to see it and sort of skipping the whole middleman situation. We're selling tickets ourselves. I'm selling merch out of a bin.
Yeah.
Come hang out, get a t-shirt, and we'll do Q&As. We usually go to a bar after. Fans will come with us afterwards, and we'll just chat the night away, drinking and talking about the movie. And it's been such a blast. So, yeah, come out and see us.
Can confirm we had fun. So this has been awesome. I think we have one more lingering question, though.
You remembered.
I did remember.
I love setting this up.
I do it when you're not here too.
Do you? Okay,
It's
that makes sense.
it's such a part of it now.
All right, I gotta set the stage. It's Friday. It's Friday night. You got nothing going on for the whole weekend. Okay, it's just you, yourself, and I. Okay, dinner time. What are you ordering on your pizza? Gotta know. This is the one the fans want to hear about.
Weirdly enough, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I did have someone say broccoli, so it's thank you. I appreciate that. And will you also clip that and send it to her?
And chicken, but she put it with red sauce, and that's devil shit.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of a veggie supreme
Let's go.
situation. I love a thick crust,
Okay.
and in a perfect world, a little bit of a spicy sauce. Place it off for like a spicy red sauce.
Yeah.
Very good. Veggies, cheese. Yeah.
Super tasteful.
The
Super.
Arrabbiata action. Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm down for that. I'm down for that. Yes.
I feel like my Miami's about to show, but okay.
Gator.
No, I'm a cane. But what was I gonna say? Okay. Oh, thick crust too. I'm with you on that. I do like a vodka sauce,
Okay.
mozzarella, but like the separate globs of mozzarella. Yes. And then like the pesto circle, maybe a little chili, hot honey. Like I'm bougie as fuck. If I could get any pizza in the world, that's what I would have.
That's beautiful.
That's the question. That's a
That's
great
beautiful.
That is also the sauciest pizza
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
ever heard in my life. That's amazing.
Try that shit. I think it's it's
one. Wet pizza.
one or slice, some Miami slice. I'm from there, so I've had
Sure.
them maybe like once or twice, but it's so delicious, and you're paying like $30 for a pie. But I swear,
If you're paying $30, you got to get it the way you want.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Absolutely. No. And weirdly, no. So we do have like a small following of people that will try guest pizzas. So I always ask that question. We also will occasionally. Yeah. So it's very important.
You
that
can
we-
build Raquel directly for the pizza that she made you order.
Them DMs and be like, your pizza fucking sucks.
Some Venmo requests.
It just says
I hate comments. My hate comments used to be like that one time I did a podcast like 20 years ago and I still get shit for my pizza. Whatever. Do you guys like Cugina Forno? How do you?
It's fine.
yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
It's fine.
You heard it, folks.
I have to make my joke. The note in your comments just says it needs pies.
Ah, nice.
I didn't prep any real questions.
That was the one you were sitting on the whole time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Cugina's is whatever.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Their pepperoni's like super salty, dude.
Slabberia?
So actually, I was telling Aaron this the other night. Was my executive chef when I was the sous chef at Nobles was I was a chef for like 20 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean no.
There's a reason he's not a chef.
Yeah, there's a reason I pour beer now, but he was my executive.
Sorry,
And
but so you're not.
so I knew him and Lucia when they opened up Bobby Boy Bake Shop.
Oh,
They actually opened it up in the old Fabian spot, which I was also the sous chef at, which was just a really funny full circle moment. But I love the Slabberia. I can't say enough good things, especially if you're a thick crust girly,
Yes.
go to the Slab or Papa Joe's, Grandpa Joe's something. I can't remember.
Oh, Grandpa Joe's like Slabberia. You should go there, yeah.
Yeah.
Before you leave, yeah.
And then hit Bobby Boy right next door. It's the best pastry you'll have.
Yes, Bobby Boy. Actually, Bobby Boy's lunch menu is insane. It's like a bake shop, but then it's like, ooh, you want like a bougie little German sausage and like all this shit. I know you don't eat meat, but like still, they have other stuff.
Yeah.
They have other options.
The life on the road has killed my vegetarianism, or put it on pause temporarily.
Oh.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yes.
It's like thinking back, I was like, I definitely
Yeah, you
watched him
watched
eat a
him
chicken
eat chicken.
quesadilla.
Yeah. Outed. No.
Yeah, no, you have a veggie.
Yeah. It's about the amount of nutrients I've managed to eat in a day, and sometimes I need to supplement that with burden.
I've been mainlining crunch wraps for the last 3 years of my life.
Cook
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually just injects them.
Thank you guys so much for
Yeah.
your time today. We really appreciate it.
Y'all have been absolutely wonderful, and I can't wait to see all of what y'all's future has to bring. I know it's going to be great, and I can't wait to see what comes of it. But give it up one more time for Raquel and Aaron. This is where the tracks come in.
And give it up for John and Eric.
Yeah, aw, nobody ever gives it up to John and Eric. That was so sweet. I appreciate that.
I'm definitely going to put the womp womp.
It's just a long fart noise.
It's gonna be so funny.
This is so much fun.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for joining us. And thank you for joining us once again, everybody. We're at Creeks and Cracks, and we laugh at the creatures that go bump in the night. Good night, everybody.